Tell me about you, your personal, what do you believe in? What's your core beliefs, not just professionally and, as a politician or a treasurer, but what are the things that are important to you?
So I think politicians, they get into office for a certain reason, but you really should take a look at, their background and then their values and then what they care about and are going to fight for. So, I'm the oldest daughter of immigrant parents. I came to this country for the American dream. So I am very in tune with kind of that immigrant experience, that entrepreneurial spirit, that, willingness to come and sacrifice and work. My parents started out with no money. Okay. So, I could see, the will and the desire to come and make it for themselves, but also the next generation. So I care about, the immigrant experience. I care about people who don't have a lot of money, who don't have a voice. And that I feel like politicians, that is our main job, is to, take care of those that can't take care of themselves. Housing is very important. I believe in home ownership. Affordable housing is great to start, and I hope people will save. But the way we build equity is through home ownership. So I bought my first house because my parents had saved for me for college, and I actually had extra money that I could use for an advanced degree, start a business, or buy a house. And I decided to buy a house, and that was one of the best decisions that I made. And I saw that in my parents, having that home. Yeah. So here in California, I've been supporting a lot of home ownership programs, going out to speak, trying to let people know what some of the down payment assistance programs are, as well as, the programs from the state. I care about education because that is the great leveler. It used to be where people, needed to go get, undergrad, bachelor's, and then they need to get a master's. But these days, it's about some sort of training where they are going to be successful. After COVID, young people don't want to necessarily go to school just for that piece of paper and to be in high student loan debt. They want to know that they're going to be able to do something with their life. They're going to make money. They're going to be able to support themselves and their family. So education. Those opportunities are important to me. Healthcare. I was born with a pre-existing condition, hepatitis B, and before Obamacare, people like me would have a difficult time getting insurance or getting kicked off of insurance because of a pre-existing condition. So, now I'm glad that, people like me don't have to make that choice. My mother also had depression. Pretty much her life because she had moved around and didn't grow up very poor. So her health condition wasn't very good. So making sure that we have accessible, quality health care for all. So these are just kind of some of my big picture items, but I have a lot of other issues that, I work on the side.
Yeah, those are very important things. I'm glad that you're focusing on those. It's much needed. It seems like an incredibly difficult thing to be in the public eye. I could imagine the scrutiny that's faced or the things that are said, especially with social medias, and sometimes people just go on and say things. Why would anybody want to pursue this kind of position and put themselves through that?
Yeah. 25 years ago when I ran for my first race, there's negative mail, but it's really just during the election time, and it's fair game, right? You can put out mail against your opponent based on some fact, right? These days, people just make up things.
Yeah.
And with AI, for example, you're not really even sure whether that's you or that's not you, that's you saying it, not saying it. So it is really more difficult for people like me. Our target keeps getting bigger. And when your target gets bigger, plus social media where people can be anonymous and attack you anonymously, they don't even know who you are, that is probably one of the most, damaging. And then for families these days, because the attacks against you when you're running are so personal, negative, and sometimes untrue, sometimes the family members, aren't prepared. If you have kids and you're hearing your mother or father attacked every day, or your spouse or your family. So that also has to be a consideration when you're in this business. how many people are going to be impacted every single day, right? If you're running and you're being attacked, your kids also have to hear it every day in school. So it is sometimes a mindset. Sometimes it's family members because, they're running because their father was the mayor or their father was this, so they've grown up in the business and they understand that this is part of it.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I would also say that you can do a lot of good.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.